Hi all. This video is basically on how I created the pockets, how they're embroidered, and the process I went through to get them all set and ready to be appliques for the actual calendar. So sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, good morning, all. So this morning, I thought I'd just show you what I do when I set up to get ready to embroider. So I have this lovely bag here that's full of contents, and I'll show you what I do. So you can see I took out of the bag 3 piles, material to be embroidered, the mesh, and the tearaway. So the first thing that I do is I take 2 tearaway, right, put it together, 1 mesh, put it together, and then set it aside up top. And I'll do that to get all 12 ready, and I'll be right back when it's done. So ta-da! I've got them all set up there. There's 11 pieces ready to go. Here's the first one ready to go, and there's the pile of green. So, you guys have probably seen this 1,000 times, hooping stuff. But I made sure that the tearaway and the mesh are 8 by 8.5, so they fit into this fixture really nice and don't let it move. I didn't want to make the material that big because, that's just a lot of waste. Because as we end up with these little pockets, that are left, I didn't want to have all that extra material. But it still hoops it. It still keeps it in its place. And of course, with Mighty Hoops, these things are just beautiful. You just kind of put it down and there you go. It's stuck in and ready to go. So all I do is put that in the machine over here, which I don't have turned on yet, but right, and it's ready to go. So I will go ahead and stitch out all 12 of these. I'll put them in a pile over here, and I'll show you what I do with the first one, and then I'll come back when the pile's full. So as you can see here, I'm doing good old number 2, right? And here it is being stitched out. I'll zoom in there a little bit so you can see a little bit more. But basically, for all of these, so that they stood out, I did a double zigzag first, and then a center stitch. So it makes it just a tad puffy, which is kind of nice. And you'll see I do the number, and then the last thing I'll do is go ahead and do the outline for the applique of where it needs to go on to the main piece. So while that's printing, I go ahead and I get stuff ready for the next one. So to tear away the mesh and the thing so I can get it ready and kind of get an assembly line going here. So it's almost done. Okay. So, sorry, zoomed out there. So here it is done. See the back? Lovely, got our tension set really well. All right. So I just take this one apart. I'll be trying to do this all one-handed. So there it is. And I just simply put that in, put our thing in like we did before, right? And then I'll put the green on and get that going, right? So that's the next step. And I've kind of got this figured out where this has to be so that it's centered in the hoop, right? Because that's the important one. I love this Mighty Hoop. I mean, it's literally just, and it's hooped, right? Lovely stuff. So next I'll take this tearaway off, leaving just the mesh, and cut the the extra strings off. and then I'll just set it aside. So here it is. You can see I got the tearaway all gone and it all trimmed. So then I just leave it in a pile, kind of lay it flat, and rinse and repeat. So again, get the next, try to get the next stuff ready to go while we're printing over there. The other thing I like to do I always check my fabric, both sides, make sure there aren't any, issues with one side or another, because sometimes you have problems as they were being made, and I found I get some white streaks every once in a while. So I just make sure I have the good side up. That way I know what's going to go into the hoop when it's ready. And then I'll come back. We'll do this the quick way here, and just like that, and ta-da, they're all done. Embroidered anyway. So now the next thing will be to cut all these pockets out. And to do that, I use this lovely cutting mat here. And I highly encourage you, if you're going to do any kind of embroidery, this is the ruler to get. Trust me, it's 24 inches by 6 inches, and it's see-through. So, as an example, when I go up to line up the thing here, see, you can see the line underneath, so I can get really, really close. And then because I use a rotary cutter, right, that makes just really clean pockets when I get done. And I'll show you the pockets when I get done. Also, as another tip, I have 2 rotary cutters. They're both 45 millimeter. But what I do is I save one. This is the one I use to cut all my stabilizer, because it's mostly paper and it really wears out the cutting wheels quick. And then I have another one that I just do for cutting out the embroidery after it's done stitched. It just makes the life a little easier, and makes your rotary cutters last a little longer, right? So I'll come back after I got all 12 of these cut up, and you'll see what that looks like. Yeah, one other comment I wanted to make. Earlier, I was showing where you could flip this material on either side, right? The reason I can do that is this is patch twill. Patch twill basically is the exact same on the top or the bottom, which isn't true for other fabrics, but for patch twill it pretty much is. So that's why I can flip it either side, and you really don't notice the difference. I mean, you can look at all these. Some are the good side up, some are the bad side up, but you really can't tell with patch twill. So that's one of the other reasons I like to use patch twill, especially when I'm making patches per se. I mean, these are all appliques in the end, but they kind of work as patches. So I wanted something that was going to be stable, right? Alrighty, see you when they're all cut out. Oh, there you go. They're all cut out. And I thought I've said this a little bit earlier in the video, but this is actually what I'm going to call an open-ended applique, because this end will fold over, right? And that gives you a nice seam for the pocket, for the top of the pocket. And then I just embroider this on with a satin stitch. So later on in the video, you'll see where we attach all the pockets. But that's why this top is open, right? So I can fold it over. Alrighty, that's it for today's update. We'll be back with more. Have a good one. Alright, I have all the bags done now. As you can see, all of them. I actually use fluorescent threads, so you can, so they stand out a little bit. Make something a little bit special on a thing anyway. So now what I'll do is I've got 12 calendars to make, so I'll combine all these into 12 separate bags so they're ready to go when I'm ready to stitch the next part. Have fun.